An engineer who's been teaching at a college sees a vision in his dreams, which changes the course of his life forever. Sounds fascinating, doesn't it? Well, in this episode of the Palak Mehta Show, you're gonna hear his very unique story. Some of you might even recognize him from his cartoons. Yes, he's been a cartoonist for many years, publishing on the front page of national newspapers. He's a very introverted person and often shies away from giving any interviews. In fact, he's written more than 28 books, which have been translated in several languages. But you won't find any of them for sale. He only gives them. However, his books have reached all four corners of the world, getting international acclaim. They have been organically translated in more than 16 languages. Even Harvard University and Stanford University today have his books. Let's meet Mr. Vishwapati. Thank you so much, Murthy for coming on the show and taking out this time for us. Really appreciate all your valuable time. And the first question that I wanted to ask you was that you have a very unique story, and that's you shared at length with me. And you're somebody who was an engineer, who was a teacher, and then a cartoonist for many years. And then you did, yeah. And then the whole course of your life changed, and you took Vedic sciences.
Correct. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, basically, I'm an engineer. I did my engineering, and then I joined an industry and teaching for some time. So in those days, I used to draw cartoons as a hobby for Indian Express. I did cartoons from 1984 to 90 when Arun Shourie was its editor. I did a front page column for them. Then I joined teaching. While I was in the engineering college, somehow the logos and the companies' logos is in relationship with Vedic astrology with the logos has fascinated me a bit. Because from my childhood, I used to draw some pictures, color paintings, and also. And then some of my friends, actually, who studied engineering with me, okay, say they had their own company. They joined some companies, and they have their own setup also. But in spite of their hard work and all, they used to suffer quite a lot. So in those days, we used to listen. No, some see in our families also, luck favored them, and their stars, their Rasi is very good. They are born in a very lucky day, something like that. So then I just thought, is there a relationship between our date of birth to the birth chart, to the Vedic astrology?
As like it just occurred to you, or you thought that maybe there is something.
No, it just occurred to me. Is it why is it that some people do exceptionally well? Some, in spite of even they doesn't know ABCs of the line of business also. They join business. They grew very well in a couple of years. But some people struggle for 20 years, 30 years like that, 40 years and that. Some people overnight, no, in just 10 years they make a lot of money. These people struggle for 50 years. Okay. And some people I've seen in my life, some people in the industry, we have excelled in 4 to 5 areas, exceedingly doing very well and very well connected, very powerful in the industry. Okay. When they want to diversify in some new area, even though they've got a lot of resources and connections, everything. But in the fifth area, somehow they'll not be very successful at all. Right. Okay, from an outsider, we'll see these people are very big. Why is it? They are not successful in this year. If they want, they could have got anything and all. So then, is it that it just started to my mind? Is it that for some people, some lines will never suit? Okay, line of business. Okay, and so then I just thought, is there any relationship between our date of birth to the birth star Rasi, for basic astrology, to the line of business we do, and the company name we put some company names for our businesses and all, and the logo we put. Okay, is it for that for some logo, some colors, some geometric pattern are obstructing their growth and all. So I studied for 2 to 3 years. I took birth charts of some of the leading companies.
So you mean you realize that there might be specific symbologies that they could use which could accelerate their journey, or you thought that this is luck which is unoptimized, or they have not like used it to the best of their ability?
Yeah, no. See, that is also one of the parameters. See, I thought for some people born in some particular planetary configurations, no, some lines of business will do them. I mean, give them a lot of prosperity.
Right.
Okay, so this Vedic astrology there it guides you. Okay, suppose see it guides you to the best areas. Which are the best areas for you, so that you can put up all your efforts in those areas. Okay,
Right.
in those areas and then succeed. So then initially I used to do it for my friends. I used to see somebody when comes to me for a company name. Okay, I go through his birth chart and then advise them, okay, this line suits you well, this line doesn't suit you well. Okay, you go in that line and the company name with some vibration of the word. This word will suit you. You use this as a company name. Then they used to grow very well. Like that, by 98, I've done for about 600 companies.
Wow.
Yeah.
You have 600 logos.
Yeah, 600 companies. They are some of the biggest people in today in the Andhra Pradesh and South India. In those days, when I was doing like a hobby in that, see, astrology helps as a good guidance for you. See, that is the reason we see many of the people now. Somebody does engineering and finally lands up in journalism, isn't it?
Right.
And somebody does engineering and finally lands up in movie industry.
Yeah.
Or then he'll go to suddenly he'll go to the different shipping lines, some different lines. Okay. As he becomes somebody wants to do engineering and somebody finally comes to medical field, isn't it? Okay. So if we know, see that's where your astrology helps you. See, it gives you a guiding factor which lines are very good for you, very favorable for you. So if we pursue those careers, you will be very successful in those areas. As a guidance, it gives a good guidance for you in every day, in most of the day-to-day things also. Good guidance, it gives us a good guidance for us to grow in a particular thing. See, that is the reason some people unknowingly also, okay, they work in industry in some line for some part of the time, and that suddenly they switch over a different profession, and in that profession they excel very well.
Right. Right. We will come back to the segment on destiny versus astrology also very soon. Coming to my next question, I wanted to know that you said that you had a dream. There was an incident that you shared with me that you had a miraculous dream, and that time you got a vision that this is something you yourself should do. It's a life purpose. Please tell us about that very fascinating incident.
So one night during my sleep, I had a dream. Okay, in that, uh, I was actually in a village. Many of the villagers are going to a temple. So I was also going along with them to the temple. That temple is on a hillock on the outskirts of the village. It's okay. So I just also walking along with them, and these people they are going to the temple. In the temple, just at the inside the temple in the beginning, a old saint, a sadhu, is sitting. Okay, is sitting there, and everybody was praying and just putting one namaskar to him, and he's not telling anything to anyone. So he just say blessing and just going. Everybody was going. He's not talking to anyone. Everybody's going. So finally, my turn has come. So when my turn has come, I put one namaskar to the Swamiji, and instantly he just lifted his head and said, "You will have to do so many things, many great things for the society in the future, and you will do great works in the future years, which will benefit society at large." And everyone around was so surprised because till then he did not talk. He was just sitting there. So and immediately I also, and he said some more things also. You'll have to do many bigger things, and not specifically writing books or anything. He said you you have to play a bigger role in the society, and for the upliftment of the general people, spreading of bhakti, tattva, devotion, goodness, sincerity, honesty in the people, all these things. So, sincerity, and you'll have great blessings from the divine force. The supreme force will always be with you. Okay, and then I just walked off, and suddenly the dream went off my mind. Okay, I just came back into this world, and immediately I got up from the bed. It was around I saw the time. It's about 2:30 a.m. in the morning.
Okay.
Yeah, 2:30 a.m. and my whole body was vibrating with Omkara, the Pranava. I'm without knowingly, I'm just pronouncing Om like that. Continuously, Om is getting, whole body is just vibrating with Om. So immediately, and it got so much, so much heat is generated in my body the moment I got up. So immediately I got up from the bed, went into bathroom, had a head bath, but still the vibration is not going. I am uttering that out in loudly, Om, like that from inside. Okay, and then I went into the puja room, okay, and sat there, and for about hour I have recited Om, and slowly the vibration of the Om has come down to a normal level around 4:30.
Wow.
Yeah, by the time it's 4:35, and next day, and I told my family the incident. It was very surprising for me. Okay, and about this, after a couple of days, very interestingly, I just happened to go through a book in which I saw a sadhu, a seer. Okay, and immediately I could realize this is the saint sadhu, saint, the seer whom the saint, the sadhu whom I saw in my dream. And immediately I just saw his name, who is he and all. Then it is written, he is Chandrasekhar Saraswati of Kanchi Mahapita. He is Mahaswami, Kanchi Mahaswami.
You
Then,
heard of Chandrasekhar Saraswati before?
yeah, earlier I just heard of, but I never saw his photographs or anything.
Right.
Yeah, that's the first time I'm seeing the photograph. So immediately I realized he's none other than the same seer has come in my dream, and then that uh, turned my life towards a new direction altogether. Entirely, it gave a new direction to me. That dream, today it gives goosebumps to me when I think of that night.
Wow,
Okay.
that amazing, amazing.
So then, yeah, then in '98 I resigned my job, and then I went into full-time logo designing. Okay, I took it as a profession.
When the dream happened after that, when you said that you had a new direction to your life, what were the changes that you felt? What were the major shifts? And you were still working at the time, right?
Yes, yeah, I was still working. No, actually, just then I resigned my, around that time I resigned my engineering college job, teaching job, and took this corporate logo designing as a full-time profession. But I used to get lot of intuitions from then onwards. Okay, so now suppose somebody comes for some advice and all, no? Even without seeing his birth chart, everything in detail, instantly, like a flow I used to get. Okay, where this gentleman lived in his earlier births, and which line suits them, which name is good for his company.
Earlier births, could you?
Yeah,
You could get an insight into previous lives.
insight into their previous lives also. Since then, I mean, insight into them. And see, I used to advise them also on, any advice I used to see. If somebody wants for some advice, immediately I used to get a feel, no, this boy he'll succeed in this area, he'll succeed in this area. In fact, I was doing a logo for a corporate company at that time. So I told him, see, your son will top in Indian Administrative Service this year. So that boy really top. He got All India 21st rank that year. So it has seemed like an intuition. It has come to me, and that dream has given a new direction to my life.
What happens next is pure divine grace. He went on to write 28 books, translated in several languages globally. What started out as a duty to God became a movement, or shall I say, a force.
You've also been an author of many books, Lord of
Yes.
Seven Hills, and then one of the very famous ones is Met Life. It's very recent, Met Again. Very
Met again,
good.
met again.
And yeah, and I went through some of the chapters of the book, and it was something where I just thought I flipped through some pages, but I went on for hours. I even slept reading that. It's amazing. It's something which almost looks like it's a download and it's been typed out, you know. And I wanted to know,
Exactly.
please tell us a little bit more about that journey.
Yeah. Actually, I wrote my first book in 2001. That in Lord Balaji. That is the first book. Till then, I never wrote any book. You see, I'm not into regular literature field or anything. One day I had a dream actually in which Lord Balaji appeared, and he just ordered me to write a book. He blessed me to write a book. So I wrote one first book that is called Sri Srinivasa Mahatyam. Sri Srinivasa Mahatyam. I took about 8 months to write that book in 2001. That was the first book I wrote. And I took it as a diksha in the sense I used to sleep on floor all 8 months. It's a great blessing from Bhagwan to write that book. Okay. And then with the first copy, we went to Tirumala. I went by walk. We climbed the walk and I offered the first copy into Swami's Hundi. Okay. And then in 2005, Lord Balaji again appeared in my dream. And then I went to Tirumala. He told me to come to Tirumala. You just come. So I went to Tirumala and I was just sitting in front of the temple. In those days, in front of the temple, there used to be a lot of steps. Okay, now there's all demolished and all. The steps, many devotees used to sit in the temple, on those steps. So I just sat on that day evening, and immediately I saw Lord in his Vishwarupa, the all-encompassing Vishwarupa in the universe, behind the temple. He was just, I could see nothing else. Nothing else was visible to me. Nothing is audible to me. I was just sitting in front of on the stairs. Okay, so he appeared in that Vishwarupam, and then he said, see, look, I'm going to tell you one Balaji Vrat Kada. This is going to be there till the end of the Kali Yuga. And end of the Kali Yuga. I just heard the voice. I heard the voice. Even though there are so many people around going and all, I could not see anything. And I just heard the voice from the universe. Okay. And nothing was disturbing me. So I said, I'm going to dictate, I'll tell you the first story. This is going to be the Vrat, Balaji Vrat. This is going to be called Balaji Vrat for generations. Okay. And the next 4, there will be 5 chapters in that book. The next 4 will be blessed to you by 4 saints. Okay, like Bharadwaja, Atri, Vishwamitra, Kashyapa. These 4 saints they will appear before you and they will bless you with the stories. This is the first story I am giving you. And telling that, he simply disappeared. At the next moment, I saw just people around, everything was normal. And I was so shocked. So immediately I scribbled down, I came to my guest house, I wrote the first story. Okay, and in that story, he tells, you see, this it can be performed in 2 ways. One is in a elaborate way. Okay, like you do Satyanarayana Puja, you put a kalasam and ritualistic thing. The other second method is any time of irrespective of the tithi or a day, auspicious, or a purnima, nothing to do with anything, irrespective of any day, just read these 5 stories. Read 5 stories of the book. Okay, any time of the day, read 5 stories and offer a fruit, offer a spoon of sugar, anything. and any of your wishes will be fulfilled. That's what he said. And I'll give equal blessing to both the methods, either doing a detailed one or a simpler version. I'll give equal. So I was also so shocked, so surprised to see Lord Vishwarupam with this physical eyes in this life. It was amazing for me. So immediately I took a vow, I will not sell this book and sell any of my books from then onwards. Okay, let these books will be free only. As long as I live, let me give these books free. So then I came back home, and in the early mornings, in the latter days, these sages they have appeared in front of me while I was sitting in the morning writing. Suddenly they appeared in front of me, and they just dictated the other four stories. Each one appeared in. So I wrote all the five stories of the book. And after writing, we have printed about 5,000 copies or something. We went to Tirumala and offered first copy. I went by walk again and offered first copies into Lord's Hundi. Okay. And that book in 2005 I wrote. Okay. Till 2012, I wrote about 12 books on Balaji alone, different aspects of Tirumala. And that too, I just get a flow. I just sit and get a flow of words simply. And sometimes I think of changing the names in the story, but it will never be possible. Even though a couple of books we have changed the name, finally it did not get saved. In the final print, the original, what I got by blessing only, went off.
So you changed your name, you made a pen name.
Yeah.
You changed your own name in the book?
No, not my name, not my name. Some character of the stories.
Right.
See, Bhagavan has told me a story. Okay, the saints have story. So in a village, some Aktarna, somebody will stay, he lives in that. So I wanted to change the name of that person.
Yeah.
So that did not happen. Yeah, we have changed. Even the printer was so shocked, so surprised. We have saved so many times, but only the original name, which was destined, which was blessed, only has come. So that book, since 2005 till now, it is translated into 12 languages.
That was my next question. That this is the reason you can feel the energy, you can feel the power. I feel very blessed right now because I can feel that energy with which you're saying, and that's the reason why it automatically started getting translated. You hear this person sitting quietly in Hyderabad, just getting some visions, writing things, saying that, okay, I'll let it be pure, I will never sell it. And then it's now today, even it's at Harvard also, right? Your works are
at yes, please. Yeah, Harvard. And in fact, this Venkateswara Bhattakalpam is kept in British Library about 7 to 8 years ago in London. The curator of the British Library, she wrote to me one day. Yeah, it seems someone approached them and asking for Venkateswara Bhattakalpam in British Library, London. So they have sent me a mail and asking me permission to put a book in their British Library. So in 2010 or around, about 10 years ago, they have kept it there. And since then, it has gone to several places. Many of my books are in Harvard, Stanford, Cambridge, several. See, that's why I say sitting in a remote place in Hyderabad, it's only God's blessing, nothing else but the blessing that.
He continued printing these books every 6 months and distributing them for free. Uttara was one such person, very inspired by this. She vowed to print 1 lakh copies in Malayalam. Truly, when the intention is pure, grace just flows. In his recent book, Met Again, Vishwapati Ji recites about his past lives, him meeting several souls from his past lives, recognizing them and their story in his present life. This completely fascinated me and amazed me, to be honest. And in my next segment, I asked him more about soul recognition, familiarity, and the cycle of life and death.
Soul is very powerful. Soul always tries to connect with the mind. But what soul tells you, mind cannot get it. Mind cannot understand the message of the soul. We see the gurus, and today the great sadhakas and the highly enlightened people are those who listen to their soul. And not only their souls, the souls around everyone, around them.
All souls are one. It's the highest.
Yeah, yes, yes. Okay. So they immediately, that is, some previous lives impressions will come to us, will we always carry. See, at the beginning, I'll tell you, at the beginning of the creation, so many of the millions of people are there. All of we are all born into different. See, there are 84 lakh species in this world, living species. We are born into different. And as all our people say, being as a human being is the utmost thing for us, isn't it? That is the utmost. Because in this life, Lord gives you the discretion to do good things. Only in the human being. Okay. And in the wildlife, they just live and go, but they cannot perform any karma. Why is that? In spite of doing all these bad things, they grow very well in life, they do very well. I am doing so nice and I'm so honest, so sincere, still I suffer. Whereas that fellow, he is most dishonest, most thing, but still he suffers. This is many people, this is the thing in many people's minds. Because see, this gentleman in the travel over millions of births, in some birth would have done some good deeds, that he is enjoying the benefits now in this life. Okay. And once this completes, in the next life, he'll enjoy all the bad karma's effects. But for our physical life, physical thing, we only see this thing. Okay, you don't see in the bright canvas, no. So he would have suffered quite. See, suppose about 20 births ago, he did great things for the society, but in the earlier births he did some bad karma. Okay, so in the later births, he'll take some. He does not do good things, good deeds, and all. He'll enjoy all the best things in some birth. So that birth could be this birth which you are able to see. Which you are seeing in which year we are contemporary to him. So see, he's become a celebrity. He earned amassed so wealth and all we see. That only we see. Maybe in his next life, he will experience all the bad karma. He may become a very normal person in the next life. Similarly, we also see, even though we are living in a normal thinking, who does see some? I've seen some of the people who lived in Dwapar Yuga, Kali Yugas. Dwapar Yuga, Treta Yuga. Okay, and they are still among us now. Because they continue to from one birth to one birth, they do again misdeeds, again come back to middle again misdeeds. And another thing, if you do lot of negative karma and all, no, then what will happen? Such people will suffer. What our elders will say, they suffer badly for in our lives because you would have done some karma in previous life, isn't it? That's what we hear. If somebody is suffering, somebody suddenly gets some illness, or somebody, in spite of his best, knowledge, and he doesn't get a good job. We say, oh, it's all bad karma and all. See, this bad karma can go to such an extent. If it is terribly overflowing bad karma, no, you take some births, sometimes some like 10 births or 15 births in the wild. Okay, you'll take birth as an animal for 15 births, then again come back to the human beings.
Right.
See, that is the reason we see sometimes, no. See, you get a pet dog or something, it gets too much attached to you, so much so, because could be it is somewhere it is in our one of our earlier births we would have lived both of us as a neighbors. He was a human being in that birth. We are also human being born in somewhere. Okay, due to his bad karma, he is born into the wild. He born as a dog in this life, but his soul recognizes you. So he loves you so much. The moment he saw us, it feels very familiar with you. It won't leave us. And our soul also recognizes it, but our mind doesn't recognize it. So we don't say, okay, we leave that dog in. But our soul, somehow we develop an attachment to it. Because in some life, we got connected to it. At one stage, you see, our elders always keep telling us, you do good deeds, you help people, help to the society. Okay, that will bring back good to you, that keeps you good. We always listen to these things, no? So when your mind takes a strong will, strong sankalp, okay, that I should do good things I should give to the people, let us live a honest life, good life, okay, like that, if you if you take a strong and live in a positive way, good way, better way, then slowly you go towards salvation.
Vishpatiji, please tell us a little bit more about the visions that you were getting and the insights. You met these 108 people, and why did you meet? Why did those visions come to you? What was the reason? Do you know, or was it something that you even went back into lifetimes and found out different relations, and it was written in crystal clear clarity, like a fact? So how did that happen?
Yeah. Yes, yes, yes. It's all yeah, it's all God's grace, I say. I always believe strongly there is some supreme divine force in this universe. Okay, that there is the beginning at the beginning of the universe. Now all these religions, so many faiths, so many gods, all these things have come. Okay, and over the course of the history, we have seen over the several years also, some great souls have took birth on this earth. Okay, to do in different faiths, not necessarily Hinduism and all, in different faiths, and they do good things for the society. So they come, they're all celestial bodies actually. They come from different galaxies. Okay, they take birth to the human being, stay for a few years, and they go back, and they do good things for the society. Society guide people, guide things, and put things in good direction in the world. Okay, and simply. So nobody knows. In fact, that's the reason in some of the greatest saints we had earlier hundreds of years ago, they've just come from some village somewhere. People are not even aware where they are born and something like that also, or their origin and all, because they suddenly appear on this earth to do some good things. Okay, and they bless some good people and they guide some good people around us. And similarly, these uh, great saints and great celestial bodies, no, they pick up some souls to part as a media to give something to the society, to the business society. Okay, so maybe I feel I'm chosen like that.
It's the true inspiration and connection, and like you said, the love, which is more important than
Yeah.
rituals and
Divine love, universal love. That's what. So even plants also love. They emanate. They communicate with us. They communicate among themselves. They communicate among, I mean, with human beings. Actually, in my last visit, I went to US. We went to Yosemite. Yosemite is a very, I mean, they've got gigantic sequoias of 700, 800 years old trees are there. So while we were moving around the trees, I could see they are communicating among themselves. The trees are communicating among them. They are like saints. I could clearly see that. And clearly you could feel. And many people see, in fact, all of us feel. Only thing is, the soul feels, but our mind doesn't get the message on this one. So that's why you feel like going to a place, you feel like going to the nature, staying more time in the nature, because we all have come from that nature only, no? Our religion is basically dictated by the time, the moment you are born in which family. You are born in a family of Christian, you are Christian. You are born in a Hindus, you are called a Hindu, isn't it? But it's not necessary that you are a Hindu next Janma, you are a so and so, so and so. See, these religions have come in about 5,000 or 10,000 years ago. Earlier, there's nothing. It's only one. Universe is one only, isn't it?
I
So
always
there,
ask this question. People say that, okay, we don't like Pakistan, we don't like India, we don't like Bangladesh, but what if we were in one life in that country? So what is
yes, definitely, isn't it? See, see, who knows? In our last life, we could have been in Pakistan.
right?
You never know, isn't it?
So you were saying that a lot of these souls were great scholars. What is your concept of religion? How do you understand religion? You said it's a recent invention. Around 5-10,000 years ago, religion came in. Before that, it was not there.
No, because nothing was there. In the beginning, universe is one. Universe is one. Later on, only all these religions, everything has come. Universe is one. All of us were living as one.
Breath of fresh air an astrologer who says you can change your destiny, an astrologer who openly talks about the dependency of astrology. There is something very unique about his perspective. In my next segment, I talk to him about some of the most popular myths around astrology. Let's find out.
How is Vedic astrology connected to the Vedas?
Yeah, actually, astrology is called one of the limbs of Vedas. Okay, Vedas Vedas. It is symbolized with human eye. Human eye. With the eye only we see the world. Isn't it? With the eye you see the world. So in Vedangas there are five Vedangas. One is Jyotish is one among them. So with this with astrology is a very good guiding factor to see the world, to live day-to-day life happily. Happily, it's a good guiding factor for us. Yeah, in way. Actually, there is nothing like a astrology, pure astrology, and Vedic astrology. Astrology itself is Vedic. Okay, astrology, the subject has come from Vedas. So there is nothing like a special Vedic astrology. I don't believe. If somebody practicing the astrology, he should be very pure to his heart. If somebody comes to you for advice, okay, you should. Why is that only some people's predictions come true, some people's doesn't come true? Because once if you give a prediction with pure heart, then it would come true. And there is one beauty in this astrology. In astrology means people will take a birth chart from a computer nowadays. Anybody can type and you can take your birth chart. Isn't it? You can go to some many free softwares are available and chart, and you can take a printout and you take it to 10 astrologers. 10 people will interpret in 10 ways. If the subject is one, everybody should tell you only one. If you go to a physics teacher, okay, he'll teach you the physics lesson. All 10 physics lesson teachers will teach you the same thing about the formula.
It depends on the spiritual evolution of the
evolution, sincerity. If somebody is among all these 10, suppose if 10 people see your chart, one may come absolutely clear with predictions and all. Because when there is divinity in you, when there is purity in you, when you feel the person who has come to you for advice, he should do well in life. That is your thought. That should be your thought. Then everything will be clearly visible there. Otherwise, a Maya will engulf you. You won't be able to read the chart properly.
A lot of people say that, okay, if you don't do this, this will happen. People try to induce fear sometimes, or they make one, or a lot of people get, I don't know why, but by default get very dependent on, advice, and they stop following their own like common sense or logic. But
exactly. No. We should never we should do it, because see, it's only astrology will give you a very basic guiding factors, which line, which things, and all. And you see, with your own will and good intentions, you can even change what is written there.
As it?
What is destined for us? Suppose some astrologer tells you will not do well in medicine. But if you have a strong desire, strong will, you can even change your destiny also with your sankalp. With your great sankalp and great willpower, you can even change. God has given you that. Yes. See, astrology is to be taken as a guiding thing, guiding force for you. But it's not that you should depend on completely and when some astrologer says, no, this is not good. See, those things will act on your mind in a negative way also sometimes, isn't it? So you should not take that fear dominate you.
If somebody just
And I've seen some people, if they go to astrologer, somebody says no, engineering is not good for you, don't do. But and he is so much interested in engineering. I told them, no, you do engineering, you will get first rank. And that he took At a challenge with complete sankalpa, he has put all his energies and he got first rank also. You can change your destiny also through your sankalpa.
I've also heard that sometimes when you meet very powerful, somebody told me abdutas or saints or somebody, just everything gets burnt inside of you, and the number of births you're taking gets reduced because desires get reduced and your karmas get reduced.
Yeah, see, yeah, that is, see, when you go to higher, see, that is the reason in our Indian system everywhere, from ancestors, our elders used to say, you go and have the blessings of the Swamiji, or go and have the blessings of Guru. That's been we have been hearing through ages that, no? Because when you go and sit for a while near that great personalities, they make a great aura in the body. The great aura they emanate, which we will not be able to see with our naked eye. That aura, that power of that aura will nullify some of the negativity in us. Negativity. You feel healthy after coming back again. You feel that negativity erased by simply their presence. Our negative karma also sometimes it gets nullified.
Many people are many people are fearful of certain periods when it comes to astrology. Some people are periods of shani period or the sadisati period. What is your take on that?
So your life will depend on at the instant of that how the planetary positions are. Not see in the nine planets. I'm telling you, there are only 9 planets. We have got very simple statistic to say 120 crore people are there in India. Okay, so 9 planets are there. So Shani will be statistically Saturn period will be running for about 1/9, isn't it? Roughly 1/9 or 1/10. Let us say. Let us say 10 crore people are there. Okay, 10 crore people might be, or even say 5 crore people might be running Saturn period. Is it that 5 crore people are suffering in the same way?
So a question I have is that a lot of times in the Sunday Times and a Sunday brunch paper gives you your horoscope, and all of us get very excited to see it. It's a human tendency to want to find something relatable. How accurate is something like that, and how much should one even depend or indulge in that? To be very honest, I just wanted to know.
But it's a human psychology. See, very generalized, isn't it? That's what. When you go for sun signs, there are 12 signs. You read the 12 signs. Okay. Again, statistically, 12 signs, 120 crore people. For each sign, 10 crore are there. Average, say. So, that those 4 lines apply to the 10 crore people on that day?
I don't think so.
Yeah. For all the 10 crores, will these 4 lines will apply simply? If that is the case.
Even in India, there are certain government universities where they give a PhD of Jyotish. But what is your advice to somebody who wants to take this up as a career? Is it something which you are selected for and you're the chosen one to practice Jyotish, or should somebody do it because they're just fascinated by the topic?
Normally, see, I strongly believe this is a divine science. Those only who are chosen for this, they only go to this course. They only do this. And once you take up this course, you should do, as I'm telling you, you should do. You should keep it in mind. You are doing this course to learn better things, to guide the society, to be everybody in happiness, to keep the society in happiness, to help the society. With that divine intention, if you do, you will learn. I mean, you will learn in a great extent. I'm just telling you, this is a science. It's a divine science for the upliftment of and well-being of the universe. So anybody who is practicing this science should follow that. Basically, you should follow for that, not for any commercial aspect.
That's like I said, you're a breath of fresh air on our show, and it is genuinely for the first time that I've heard somebody talk about astrology with so much purity, and it just clarifies so many myths around it. So thank you so much for genuinely taking this time out.
Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. I thank you and all of your team and for a wonderful discussion we had. I also thoroughly enjoyed it, and I hope everyone will get benefited by it. I hope the society will get benefited by good thoughts, good deeds. Everyone would be happy. Let there be universal happiness in this world. Let everyone be happy. Sarve Jana Sukhino Bhavantu.
Thank you so much.
I hope you enjoyed this conversation as much as I did. If you want to know more about Vishwapati Ji's works, please see the description in the link below. If you like this video and want to watch many more such videos, please click the bell icon, be notified, subscribe to my channel, and share your thoughts with me in the comment section below. I also want to thank all our supporters, Mohanji Foundation, Amukher, ACT Foundation, World Consciousness Alliance, and our production house, M House Media and V Media. I'll see you again next time, next week, in another very enriching episode. Stay tuned.